Welcome, welcome. Jamie Hernandez here, founder of Breakthrough Yoga Coaching Method, helping you bridge the gap between your spiritual practice and your business. So today's training is titled Embracing the Power of Embracing Failure. The power of embracing failure. So just let me know in the comments if you feel like in your business you've experienced some failure. So, and the truth of the matter is, there is not really a such thing as failure in business. There is information. So one thing that we can start to consider when things don't work out. So if we consider, okay, what is failure? You tried something, right? You tried something and it didn't work. You moved towards something and, the clients I work with, either they, oh, hey, Lise, either they tried something in marketing, they tried something to make money, or they did some kind of sales process and it didn't work. And so then we misdiagnose that failure as something that didn't work and we failed. So that also then what we do is we're like, okay, well then that means I'm not good in business. It means I don't know how to make money. It means I hate sales because I'm a spiritual person and, I don't like to sell myself. And so we have this idea of the information that we're being given in our business and we misdiagnose it. So those are the three areas for spiritual entrepreneurs that I think we have a lot of energy around. Money, anyone? Marketing, and sales. And those are the three kind of levers in your business that you want to start to consider, especially if you're a service-based business online and you're putting yourself out there. Who are you speaking to? So one of the first things in marketing is sometimes we get caught up in the, Instagram, TikTok reels, YouTube strategies, and we forget that marketing is actually speaking to someone. It's speaking to your clients. And if you were to work with me, what we need to understand, right, is just because you put something out there and then people didn't buy it, is there could be a possibility that you're not necessarily speaking to your clients in that very deep way that you create, that deep life-altering transformation that you create. You're not speaking to that, those, deeper, pains that they're going through, and you're not speaking to, meaning to say, I'm not saying you use their pain to kind of get to them, but people need to know, especially if you're in the healing, the healing world, that you see them. People need to know that you hear them. People need to know that you understand, their experience. And in marketing, we want to speak and understand that we also need to speak to their highest self, right? So we need to allow ourselves to speak to those that our dreamiest clients that we want to work with in that way where we can hold their experience, hold their vulnerability, hold their pain in a place where we see them, we hear them, we feel them. Because we ourselves have been through that, we have brought our clients through that, and we have expert training in what we do, right? So we all have those qualities. So when it comes to failure, let's say in the marketing realm, what we want to consider is, do we truly know who we're speaking to? And it's a difference between I help people relax and, get out of chronic pain. Yes, that's, something that we may do, but can we really, what I teach our clients is, can we really speak to them from that place where we can actually tell them a story? So one of the practices that we practice is instead of telling people what you do, show them. So I had a client today, actually, I just read his post, and he is a travel coach. And he put out this post where the first time he landed in New Zealand, this is first time he's ever like traveled afar, and he was in a van with people who were like, hey, there's this island, that's not really on the grid, like that not that many people know about. You should go check it out. And he knew in his heart that, oh yes, okay, I want to go to those places that are not necessarily on like the tourist maps, because that's what he does. And so as he took the 30-minute ferry there, and he started approaching the island, tears started coming into his eyes, because there was something in him that knew, okay, I'm in the right place. And he ended up, even though he was just traveling, he ended up living there for 2 years. And it was a journey that he started where he started traveling and living in all of these different places, because he started to learn, oh, okay, how do I actually travel long term to different places and live there? And so what happens in marketing is, if you were to work with me, is you start allowing yourself to share your experience from the message that you're creating, not from your credentials, not from you're in chronic tension, so let me get you out of that. It's not telling them, but showing them through your experience. Because when you show them through an experience, one, what it does is it allows them to live that story through you, and oh, is that me? Do I want to live that story? Do I want to be the character in that story? Right? And it also builds credential. And here's a beautiful thing about this, about that marketing technique, is that it's not even a marketing technique. You're essentially sharing your experience. You're sharing your experience with a particular message to a particular person. And when you work with me, we really start to dive deep into that person. What are they thinking? What are they feeling? What are they doing? Right? And the minute he said that, talked about that story of having tears in his eyes as soon as he landed on that island, I knew exactly what he was talking about. That type of travel that is like, oh my God, okay, I'm far from where I came from, but I'm home. And your clients too, if you know them on a deep level, because your clients are a version of you, and you allow yourself to share the experiences that are deeper than the superficial of what you're trying to do. It's an experiential journey. Then it allows them to move into that experience, and it helps them know you, right? And it helps them understand who you are, what are your values, what you stand for. It helps them understand, can I work with this person? It helps them understand, oh, okay, so what types of experiences am I going to be taking on if I'm with this person? So this experience of, landing there and then living there for 2 years, he teaches people how to do that in long term. So if those are his clients, not the people necessarily that want to kind of go on a cruise for 10 days and, stay on the ship and get off board like for, 2 hours, he's not speaking to that person, because that is not his dreamiest client. So one of the things in marketing that we want to consider is, are you really speaking to your dreamiest client? And who is that person? And are you speaking from that visceral, energetic, deep place, because you're speaking from that place of, you've been there, your heart, your soul, your body has been there. And when you tell a story like that, first of all, it's true, it's fact. It's not like you're making something up and you're trying to position yourself like I am a guru and blah, blah, blah. You're telling a story from a deep, authentic experience that helps a transmission happen through your, what we call, marketing. And as healers, as coaches, as people creating life-altering transformations in our business, that's how your people relate. That's how they speak, right? They speak body, they speak energy, they speak in inspiration in their mind. And so we want to speak to them on all levels. So versus making it about like, because here's the thing in marketing. what kind of F's us up is our mind gets in the way, and our old subconscious beliefs get in the way. And we have some kind of idea after, like, let's say whatever, we put a message out there that wasn't very clear, but then we misdiagnose it and we think, well, I must not be expert enough. I must not be perfect at this. I must not be capable. I must not be worthy, or I must not be enough, or must not be significant. Maybe my message is not, significant. And so we misdiagnose our marketing efforts, and we don't realize there's a lack of clarity. There's a lack of congruency. There's a lack of consistency. And so when we start to align, hey Olga, when we start to align with, a message that is true to our heart, a message that is clear, that we understand, where are my clients now? Where are they? What is the pain that they're in, and where do they want to go? What is their bliss? And can I, through my own experience and through my own storytelling, which I teach you a structure, and this is the beautiful thing about this. When you have a structure, and this is, as healers and coaches, we can't get too complex, but if we have a basic structure, then we basically follow that structure every single time we put out our marketing, because the consistency and congruency is really the key when it comes to how we're speaking about our business. It's not the latest trend, the TikTok reel, the filters, the Instagram, like it has nothing to, that's just all extra. That's just like extra colors on your canvas. But the art itself, right, is what you're offering to the world. So don't mistake your paintbrushes and your colors and your size of your canvas with the actual download and expression of art that you're offering to the world. Let me know in the comments if that makes sense. Yeah, Lise, Olga, let me know for you, in terms of your marketing efforts, what do you feel about it, right? How do you feel about it when you put yourself out there, right? And if it feels like this place where you're trying to be something, and you're coming for credentials, or you're not too sure, then you kind of know it's coming from those subconscious places that I just mentioned, that the feeling of not feeling enough, worthy, capable, perfect, significant, I don't belong here in this marketing space. There's so many other people in the healing space that are doing it better than me. So we misdiagnose, and we put our mind into that place where we think we failed ourselves, when really it's just shifting the energy into the clarity of who we deeply want to serve. And if you were to work with me, we come from a place of our own experience, but we also come from that intuitive place of, when you think, and I want you to think about this right now, like when you think of the clients that you're working with, who are the ones that you absolutely love to work with? And what is the life-altering transformation that you offer, deep in your heart? And what is that life-altering transformation that you take your own medicine in? Because that's the other thing in messaging. If we're preaching versus guiding and teaching, it can be felt. People can feel that, oh, okay, I get it. It sounds good, but I don't necessarily feel the energetics behind it. I don't necessarily feel the clarity behind it. I don't necessarily feel the visceral, my nervous system. There's something in my nervous system, and your people, just like you, are feelers. Yeah, so we may as well start to shift, and this is what I try to teach all of our clients, shift into that asset. We have the asset of feeling. We have the asset of intuition. We have the asset of having downloads. We have the asset of knowing how to feel our body. We have the asset of seeing these like inspirational moments come through our mind, because we maybe been meditating or practice some kind of self-contemplation. We have the asset of our energetic field that has become magnetic, especially when we're steeped in our own medicine, whatever it is you do. So let me know in the comments, like, what's your magic? What do you do that you steep yourself in? What is your creative life force that you steep yourself in, right? And so when we steep ourselves in that practice and we start to speak about it, and we speak about our experience, or we speak about a client experience, people can feel that, and your clients will feel that, right? So messaging is starting to get really congruent in your physical somatic body, clear in your mind and clear in your energy of who you're speaking to. And you're not speaking to everyone, because the truth of the matter is, in the market, hey Frankie, the truth of the matter is, in the market, there could be thousands of people watching you. Most of them don't comment. 9 out of the 10 people don't comment, but 1 to 3% are in that place. If your mission is congruent, if your message is congruent, if your message is consistent, then those people can feel your centeredness and when they're ready, they'll buy. So it's not about convincing. It's about, am I super duper clear super duper clear in what it is I'm doing here on earth, and who I serve, and where are they now, and where do I want to take them? So that's what I want you guys to consider. Who are my dreamiest clients? Not the one you think, the one that is already naturally magnetized to you and are evolving with you. Because here's the thing too, like, we sometimes work with clients, and as we evolve, our clients evolve into maybe a higher frequency, into a different kind of joy and excitement, right? So who are those people? I want you to think about that, right? Who are those people? And let it come to you, right? Because the thing is, it's already been coming to you. And this is what I talk about a lot. Intuition is remembering the past as well as remembering the future. So when you remember the past, you start to remember who in your life already naturally become attracted to you in your work and your business, right? And for me, it's like, I've always had people who had, really deep, unconscious, subconscious things in the body, in the mind, in the energy that come to me. And people who are asking me about business. Even though I don't think I'm this savvy business person, but there was a calling there, right? And so I responded to that calling, because here's the thing, you're gonna do what excites you, and then also life is gonna bring you, and you all know this, are gonna bring you people that are like, here, you're ready for this, here, allow yourself to explore. And it's just a mirror, and because we have free will here on earth, we get to choose, okay, are we going to answer that calling, even though I never will feel completely ready for that, because that's what the subconscious will do. It will never feel completely enough, worthy, capable, expert enough, perfect enough, belonging enough, significant enough. But what happens is, when you live questions, because here's the thing, here's the thing about questions, okay? We live them as we ask them. So what do I mean by that? When we ask a question like, why is my life so hard? Life will offer you a reflection of why your life is hard. So we live the question. So when people always say, you need to ask better questions, how can my life be more beautiful, more joyful? And so life will live that question with you, right? So you want to start to ask yourself, in these moments of what you think is failure, like, oh my God, why isn't anything working out? Why I'm not good at marketing? Why I'm not good at business? Why I'm not good at this tech stuff? Ask yourself different questions. How can this be fun? How can this be easy? Who can I work with that will help me. And this is the other thing I want to say. Very often when we're building our business house, I call it our business house. So you imagine it like brick by brick, 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 you're building something, right? And then all of a sudden you get to one brick and the brick is not the right color. It's not the right size. It's not the right shape. All of a sudden, again, you misdiagnose that brick as like, oh my God, now I can't build the house. Instead of like, is this the right brick? And if I don't know how to make that brick, how can I find the resources, the experts out there? Because we're an expert in our field, but we're not expert in everything. And that's the truth. When you're an entrepreneur, it's like you are your own expert, but you have to understand as you build your team, because all businesses need a team to grow, there are going to be other experts in your field and other people who love doing certain things that you hate doing, right? So it's like understanding what your zone of genius is and delegating, the zone of excellence and zone of incompetence to other people. Now that's a whole other thing, but it's just to understand that who can help me. There are always people ahead of you that can help you. There are always people at your same level that can help you, and there are always people who you're bringing along with you on that journey, where you perhaps know something and you can help. Like, for example, if you know how to create a Canva banner, but you hate it, like speaking personally, but your assistant loves it and they're so creative and they know how to, they love searching for the pictures and creating the banner and all this stuff, then you want to start to learn how to delegate that. Now, if there are certain things, like for me, I'm always kind of learning from coaches who, on many different levels, right, are teaching me about marketing, who are teaching me about sales, who are teaching me about messaging, who are teaching me about financial profits, and who are also teaching me about deep soul work. So I'm always looking to see, what is it? What's that brick that I need to learn? So when you have a quote unquote failure, we want to ask ourselves, okay, so where can I receive the answer and who can help me with this? Okay? Not, oh my God, they know what they're doing, and I'm such an idiot, I don't know what I'm doing. Not from that place. Yeah? Another misdiagnosis that we have is in terms of the amount of money we make. And I think this is a level of kind of maturity of understanding that in business, there are cycles, right? There are cycles in your business where your finances, there are seasons where it's like, it's off the hook and it's wonderful and you're making the sales and everything. There are seasons where it's like quiet, and there are seasons where it's like, oh my God, okay, is this is this still happening? Right? And if we understand those cycles, then again we can prepare ourselves for those and understand how to allocate our investments in our funds so that we understand the cycle of business. So I think it's a maturity, because I think sometimes when it comes to marketing, sales and money, we can get, oh hey Chris, we can be almost like teenagers, where it's like we try a marketing thing or we didn't make the sale and we're like, oh, that didn't work, and and it's like we want this immediate gratitude when we don't understand, okay, if you're going to have longevity, if you're going to have a long-term business, then we have to understand the cycles, right? And it's, if you, let's say, make an analogy with your healing practice, yes, we're always going to be healing. We're always going to be going into our soul's journey. We're always going to work with our body, our mind, our energy. But there's always going to be a cycle of our old wounds that emerge. And so then it's like another layer that we're working with. And same in our business. There's always going to be cycles in our business where we're riding high and all of a sudden something's not working in our business. And then again, we misdiagnose this. Oh my God, failure. should just not do this at all. I should just quit. Instead of like, oh, okay, now I'm in this place where maybe things are changing in the market. Maybe things are changing in myself interiorly. Maybe things are changing with my clients. And how can I look at that, and where can I get help and resources for that? And the last thing, I think a lot of people really hate the word in our spiritual community is sales. Like, what? Sales? I'm supposed to ask money for for my thing? Like, what? And the thing that I teach our clients is to understand what I call the triangle of three. Your professional experience, like training, professional experience, your client experience, people you've worked with, and your own personal journey. And when we understand the triangle of three, we understand that we actually have an expertise, and we can synergize that expertise to give people a particular outcome. Because sometimes we think, oh, let me just name everything I've done energy work. Oh, there's my groundhog. He's in my backyard. Let's see. Can you see him? Wait. I can't. Anyway, I'm trying to show you my groundhog who's hiding now in my backyard. Okay, got distracted. He's distracting me. Oh wait. See? Oh, there he is. Okay. So that's a little guy distracting me. Now, sales, right? So the thing that we get really, it's almost like we disassociate with the fact that we actually have to ask money for what we do. And again, it comes back to those unconscious beliefs. I am not worthy, I'm not significant, I'm not capable, I'm not perfect, I don't belong, what I have to do it's not significant enough. But when we actually allow ourselves to really understand the decades of experience we have in our life, in our professional training, and with our clients, we start to really understand, one, with my synergy of three, I know how to collapse time for them. So there's this problem that they're having, that they can, sure, do it somewhere, right? Maybe they can find a book or get a free resource or ask somebody who kind of knows, and it will take them, like, who knows, 10 years to try to figure whatever you're trying to do. Like if you're, you create websites, or you help people with PTSD, or you help people with ADHD, or, you have a certain very particular triangle of three. What we have to understand is that very unique triangle of three, you can't really find that somewhere else, right? So somebody with, like, for example, post-traumatic stress, they can't just only go to a person who, maybe knows how to breathe in and out. And, if you have very particular experience with that, and you've developed a process, this is what I teach all our coaches. It's like, how do you now take your experience, utilize your own training, and utilize your own experience to create your own particular methodology, because you wouldn't be where you are without that methodology. So you have methodologies, but sometimes we're so intuitive about it, we don't realize we actually have these processes. And what we do with that processes is we can give our clients a very particular, very straightforward path, right? The quickest path to where they are, to where they want to go. So one of the things we do is we collapse time. And so what I teach our clients is the understanding of, like, what would happen if your dreamiest clients, the ones you absolutely know you create life-altering transformations for, what would happen if they didn't work with you 10 years from now, 20 years from now, right? If somebody's suffering from post-traumatic stress, and they've done everything that you've done. Like, I have a client where it's like he's done the, clinical kind of pathway, the, medical pathway. And I'm not saying that it not to do this. I'm just saying it didn't fully get him to where he is today. And then he realized through his own professional, personal, and client experience, wait a minute, there's a particular formula. If I'm gonna live a life where I'm not necessarily afraid anymore of noise, or I can at least function, in harmoniously with the patterns that have been instilled in me. And I know how to get somebody from where they are, that pain of that debilitating place, to where they want to go, right? Then what we do is we collapse time. What we do is we give them a very particular pathway, especially if somebody's in overwhelm or in confusion or in pain. They don't want these, like, a little bit information here, and then a little bit of information here, and then a little bit of information here, and that kind of worked, and that kind of didn't really work, and I don't know, they want a clear pathway. And what a lot of people don't understand when it comes to sales is, where is your client going to be? Where is your client going to be like 10 years from now if they don't work with you? So your significance, your capability, your ability to belong is there because you brought yourself there, and you brought your clients through that experience. So that's where you can allow yourself to stay centered in the path that you know that works, right? And everybody in their own divine timing evolve. So sometimes we get really caught up in, like, oh my God, what if they don't get the result that I offering? When you've brought yourself and enough people through a path, you know at a certain point that path is going to get you to the place you want to go. How long it takes certain people, that's their journey, right? Depending on their life experience, depending on their professional training, depending on where they're at in their life, right? So it's really understanding and getting centered of where you are, and understanding, like, it took you, this whole pathway to get there. And so now you're taking that pathway and you're giving somebody else the ability to walk on that path with you. So let's recap. Embracing failure. Number one, there's not really a such thing as failure. There's really just information, and we often misdiagnose the failures in our spiritual business. And the three areas that we often misdiagnose is when it comes to marketing, when it comes to making money, and when it comes to sales. And we misdiagnose this, and we get overwhelmed, and we spin out in a story, and then we think we need to quit. Or here's the other thing we think we need to do. Okay, let me just go heal more. But here's the thing, when you go heal, that's great. But what we forget to do is redirect that energy back into the business. So if we get into the spiral of, like, oh my God, I'm such an idiot, I don't know what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. And then we go heal, then we kind of we go back into neutral. And then we forget, okay, now I have some freed up energy to kind of now put towards my business. So we wait a little too long between those things, and then we try to go forward, and then we get information overload with all of the marketing techniques, with all of the sales techniques, with all of the, getting clear on who you serve techniques. Like, it just becomes overwhelming. And then again, we go into this healing loop, I call, where we go back into, like, let me heal. We get some creative energy, and then we kind of forget who it is I'm serving. Who am I talking to? What is my mission? And am I staying consistent and congruent in that direction? Or am I healing, getting a creative hit, coming up with a new idea because you think, oh, maybe this is the thing, putting it out there, and then again misdiagnosing those three areas: your marketing, your sales, and how much money you're making. You misdiagnose those three areas, right? So so marketing, as we've been talking about, is really understanding your clients at a deep somatic level, physically, mentally, energetically. Taking your own medicine so that when you share your story, it's a transmission, it's a felt sense, it develops a natural trust, you know, like the fact that my client has traveled in 46 countries, and that's a fact. There's a natural trust that yes, he understands what it is to do long-term travel. There's no like he doesn't have to prove that to me, right? He just has to share with me, share congruently and consistently that that's that experience, right? And share where he was before, and share how did he get there afterwards, and share a process, a particular pathway, right? Your particular pathway based on the triangle of three, right? You have a particular pathway. We talked about, understanding, where our finances are, because again, sometimes we think, okay, when we have like dips in our bank account, that, oh my God, okay, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do this business thing. And it's like a lack of maturity of understanding the cycles of your business, looking at your profits and your losses and your expenses, and understanding it from that level, and developing, and what I teach in our program is developing a loving relationship with your finances and money, right? When we develop a relationship, and all good relationships are in communication. All good relationships is like, oh, okay, I actually pay attention to you. All good relationships allow for abundance to come into their field, right? All good relationships are open to when you're not fully present and when you're present. Like, so money is that same thing. It's a relationship. And so when we can develop a relationship to money in a way, and we could understand the natural business cycles of our cycles, and then look and forecast over long term how we can reinvest our money so that we know how to invest when we're in the highs, and then when we're in the mediums, and when we're in the lows. And then the last was sales, right? The ability to ask, money for what you do. And this is where all of our kind of imposter syndrome comes up, all of our old patternings of what we're willing to receive comes up. So when we start to develop a relationship to what we're willing to receive, and who we truly are, and what we really want to offer in this world, and we keep that as our North Star, versus the lack of versus what we want to center in, then we're simply coming from that place of truth, and we're not trying to convince people to work with us. We're simply offering it, and offering them, and letting them know how you collapse the time, letting them know your particular pathway, letting them know through story, why they would work with you, right? And you're not even saying why, it's just through the story they will naturally gravitate to you or not. That's the thing, right? Some people do want to go on those touristy tours, like with one of my clients, like, and long-term travel is not their thing, right? But if he stays clear on his mission, and clear on who he speaks to, his dreamiest clients, and clear on where they are and where he's bringing them, and clear on the life-altering transformation that he offers, then that's what people are going to be ready for. And again, like I said, there could be thousands of people, listening to what you're saying, but there's, first of all, 1 out of 10 people actually comment, and 1 to 3% are actually ready to buy. So your consistency and your congruency is really important for the longevity of your business. So that's the recap. If you were to work with me, we'd get super duper clear on your dreamiest clients, right? Through a deep process that we look at their, deepest vulnerabilities, and then we look at their highest self, where they want to go, their potential. I teach you a very simple, structured way of putting yourself out there, the content that you can create to help your clients see you and let them know that you see them, right? On that deeper level, from the deepest dark to the light, right? And from that energetic resonance. So practicing taking your own medicine, right, is so important. And then sales, right? How can we, oh, there he is again. How can we offer what we offer, ask for the money that we know, if you were to think about what 4-figure or 5-figure investment would I love to ask my clients for? And it's so funny, we put so much energy around that, and we forget, well, what are the decades of experience I have? What is the life transformation that I offer? What is the collapse in time? How much money am I actually saving my client if they didn't do this for the next 10 years, right? What is that path, that proven path that I've put myself on and put so many other people in my path, the same, in that same pathway to get them to the other side? So that's it. Embracing failure. Simply information, and letting you know, oh, okay, there's a brick in my house that doesn't necessarily fit to continue building upon. So, where can I get that resource? Who can I work with? What other experts can I bring in to help me with this thing? And that's the thing. It's that one thing at a time. Sometimes we go off on a research and then we start getting really distracted with all of the things. When really, if you were to work with me, we really work on what's the next most profitable action. And what is the most effective thing you can do in your spiritual practice to activate your soul into implementation, into action. Those two things. Because it's too much to think about everything, all things. Like, there's just thousands of things that we can do in our business at every given moment. But as your coach, if we can really focus in on what is the spiritual work we need to do, what is the thing that we need to clear in our spiritual house, okay? The one thing, and what is the most next profitable action, and focus on that. And often it's so simple, like having a conversation. Because the people in your business is human. So when we focus on the humans in our business and we speak directly to them, then that's how we create business, especially if we're in service. And so we're going to do this with the asset that we have. We're going to do this through getting grounded in the body. We're going to do this through clearing our mind. We're going to do this through mastering our energy. And we're going to use the doorway of our spiritual practice to then take that energy and literally put it into your next obvious action. And the thing about having a coach is it creates accountability, because sometimes you can have direction and a strategy, but it's like when you implement it, you're sort of like, you're not even 100% sure, like, is this it? And so having a coach helps encourage and validate and help you kind of tweak your strategy into, continuing to align with, is this really true for you, right? Because when the SHIT hits the fan, which it will, you want that person who can encourage you, but also say, okay, here's how we're going to clear our energy, but here's the next thing you want to do. And then look, take a moment, like don't, because sometimes when we think we're going to implement, we'll take months to do the one thing, and your coach will, well, if I were your coach, we'd follow up, right? So it collapses that time. Right? And then you have a mirror, you have somebody to continue to encourage you and validate you and keep you in that highest stream of consciousness. And we keep on following that. So we follow your North Star, right, inside this structure. And when you follow your own North Star and your own truth, then you can't go wrong. So if you're interested, DM me, let me know, Jamie, I'm ready for a breakthrough yoga coaching call, and I'll send you an application, and we'll look at where is it that you're stuck, because it's always a blind spot. It's always something that you think it's this, but it's actually something else. And we're gonna look at where that has been, imprinted in your body, mind, and energy. We call it the 3-level clearing. And that's the lever that will help you, the domino effect, to help you continue to move forward into your next most profitable action and your highest earning potential to work with your dreamiest clients. So that's it for me. Thank you so much. My name is Jamie Hernandez. Let me know in the comments your biggest takeaways. In the comments, there will also be a book to my, a calendar link to book a call with me. And it's in the comments. Katie will put it eventually. So thanks so much. Or you can DM me. I'll see you next week, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bye, guys.